Good evening. Hello, world. I'm Doris Hall James, and welcome to the Indie Show. The Indie Show brings hidden music legends to life. This platform showcases their musical talents, their gifts, and contributions that they have given to the music world. This evening, my conversation will be with Good Shepard's Music Ministry. Good Shepherd Music Ministry promotes praising and worshiping God through song. Their theme is, "You should live so God can use you." Welcome, Good Shepherds Ministry. How are you?
Good.
I love the smiles. Welcome to the Indie Show.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for accepting my invitation to the Indie Show, and it's great seeing you here today. Okay, now I'm going to introduce Paul C. Jones, and Paul and I have been friends for
years and years and years.
For a very, very long time. I haven't seen him in a very, very long time, so it's really good to see you again.
It's good to see you as well.
Okay, you want to introduce him?
Over on to my far left is he gets a little perturbed when I call him this, but that's my baby brother. That's my baby brother.
Hi,
That's Keith, but we call him Tony. That's Keith Jones. In the middle is my brother from another mother. That's Harold Clark.
It's me.
Okay, and we've been together for a bit, and we just love to have the opportunity to praise God through song.
Okay. Now, you and I have been knowing each other for a long time, and tell me, how did you get that name Punchy?
Punchy came, as you can see, I'm a big person.
Okay.
I was a big baby. I weighed 8 pounds and 14 ounces at birth. Mm-hmm. My older brother, who's deceased, he was 11 years older than me, and he loved boxing. The first time he saw me, I was a big baby, and you know how babies move their hands around like this, and he said, "Well, look at this guy. He came here, he's a fighter. He's punching everything, a little punchy guy." And my mother thought it was hilarious. Said, "Punchy, that's funny." And that stuck. That's been my nickname.
Because I've always known you as Punchy.
Right.
But never knew how you got that name.
Well, that's the origin.
Okay, before we go any further, why don't you guys do a little something for us to get us started?
Okay.
Okay?
Sure.
Sing something for us.
The song is called Heaven Is My Goal. We're going to do a little bit of it. We hope you enjoy it. We sort of like it, and we hope you do too.
And speak up a little
bit. Well, heaven is my goal.
Heaven is my goal.
Each and every day. Every day. Gotta keep on moving. Gotta keep on moving in the right way.
Moving in the right way.
Good God Almighty, if I stumble, I'm on my way. Step aside, don't you block my way. 'Cause I don't want nobody always stumbling over me. Heaven is my goal, heaven is my goal. Each and every day, gotta keep on moving, gotta keep on moving in the right way, moving in the right way. Good God Almighty, if I stumble while I'm on my way. Step aside, don't you block my way. 'Cause I don't want nobody always stumbling over me.
Well, I came,
yes, Lord,
to Jesus,
yes, Lord,
just as I was,
yes, Lord,
I was weary,
yes, Lord,
I was wounded,
yes, Lord,
I was sad,
yes, Lord,
in Him,
yes, Lord,
a sweet old
resting place, yes, Lord,
and He,
yes, Lord,
He has
yes, Lord,
me.
Heaven is my goal, heaven is my goal. Each and every day, gotta keep on moving, gotta keep on moving in the right way, moving in the right way. God Almighty, if I stumble while I'm on my way. Step aside, don't you block my way. 'Cause I don't want nobody always stumbling over me.
I asked the question, was Jesus?
Yes, Lord.
Jesus bear
Yes, Lord.
the cross
Yes,
all alone.
Yes, Lord.
And all
Yes, Lord.
this world
Yes, Lord.
free.
Yes, Lord.
No,
Yes,
no,
Lord.
no.
Yes, Lord.
There's a cross
Yes, Lord.
for each and
Yes,
every
Lord.
one of us.
Well, yes, Lord.
And there,
Yes, Lord.
there's a cross.
Yes, Lord.
For
Heaven is my goal. Heaven is my goal. Each and every day. Every day. Gotta keep on moving in the right way. Good God Almighty, if I stumble, I said to keep me right there. Well, if I stumble while I'm on my way. Well, if I stumble while I'm on my way. Step aside, don't you block my way. 'Cause I don't want nobody. Oh, Lord, I don't want nobody. I don't want nobody stumbling over me. I don't want nobody. Tell me, church, can you hear me? I don't want nobody. I want to know, can you hear me? I don't want nobody. I don't want nobody. I don't want nobody stumbling over me. I don't want nobody. I don't want nobody. I don't want nobody. Always stumbling over me.
Praise the
Thank you,
Lord.
thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you
very
very,
much.
very much.
Thank you.
yes,
Yes, we don't want nobody stumbling over.
that's right. That's right.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Okay, so you brought us in. Now I want you to tell me your story. Okay, what drew you into the music industry?
Well, growing up, I was raised initially by my grandfather and grandmother, my mother's father and her mother, and came from a musical family. His entire family sang.
Okay.
His father was the pastor and founder of our church, New Psalmist Baptist Church, which he pastored, by the way, until he was 96 years old.
Oh, how wonderful,
And then-
wonderful.
When he retired, about 2 months later, he passed. But I grew up singing around the house. My grandfather used to sing all the old quartet songs, you know, and because we were raised strict Baptists, you know, I wasn't allowed to go to movies and things like that,
Yeah.
you know, and all I really knew was gospel songs. When I was about 5 or 6 years old, I went to choir rehearsal with my grandmother, and they were getting ready for a Christmas program, and they were playing Silent Night, and I was sitting there on the choir stand, and I started singing. I always had a big voice, and you know, the musical director heard me singing. She stopped playing. She said, "Punchy, come here." I came up. She said, "Sit right here on the seat with me." I said, "Yeah." She said, "You know that song?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "I bet you don't know it all." I said, "Yes, I do."
All right.
She said, "No, you don't."
Yeah.
I said, "Yeah." She said, "Well, I'm going to play it. I want you to sing it." And I sang the song. And when I finished, she looked at me and she grabbed me by my hand and said, "Come on with me." And she took me.
Yes.
My grandfather
Yes.
was the chairman of the deacon board. So she took me to the deacon's office. I thought I was in trouble. I didn't know what was going on. And she said to him, she called him Daddy. She said, "Daddy," she said, "have you heard this boy sing?" And his nickname for me was Sunsh. He said, "Sunsh sings around the house all the time." She said, "No." She said, "Have you heard him sing?" She said, "Well, I guess he can carry a tune." She said, "No, this boy can sing."
All right.
She said,
Yes.
"Listen, can you give me permission, and if he'll do it, I want him to open up the Christmas program for us." And, you know, I'm 5, I'm brash. "You want to open the Christmas program?" "Yeah, I want to do that." You know? So, long story short, we did that. I came down the aisle. I had on a little white relief, they called it. I was holding a candle, and they cut off all the lights in the church.
Okay.
And I came up and they were playing Silent Night, and I walked up to the mic with the candle in my hand, and I'm singing. By the time I got to sleep in heavenly peace, I had shook the candle out.
All right.
But when I did, all of a sudden I heard, "Yay!" And I looked around and I said, "Wow, that's for me."
The applause.
They didn't know they created a junkie from that day. From that
Okay.
day. And I just love music. Always have. Always have. Woo.
So after you were 5 years old, and you went into church and you sang and you continued,
Yeah.
okay? And then what happened next in your musical career?
Well,
So how did you, wait a minute, let me ask you. So you started in church,
Yeah.
then you got into R&B,
Yeah.
and now you're back in church.
yeah.
Okay, so
Full circle.
So yeah, full
Yeah.
circle. So after you left the church, or during that time, you got into R&B, right?
Yeah. Now that goes back to elementary school.
Okay.
Your late husband, Larry James, Fat Larry, was my best friend.
Okay.
In fact, his mother and my mother used to call themselves sisters. Larry had one little red snare drum. Okay? And we had a friend named Arnold Langley.
Okay.
Arnold played guitar. And Arnold was so good, I mean, they would let him come to different classes and stop the class and let him play. He was phenomenal, you know? But we were kids. We were just having fun. So Arnold decided and asked Larry, he said, "Look, let's go play at this birthday party." So Larry said, "Yeah, well, come on, Punch, you can go too." And from that point on, we used to go around to different birthday parties. Larry had his one drum, Arnold had his guitar, and I had my big mouth. And we sang.
Okay.
But as years progressed, when we became teenagers, Larry had a cousin named Gerald James, who was a leader and drummer of a group called the Soul of Balance,
Right.
who later became the Forces of Nature. And he called Larry and said, "Hey, Larry, there's a band down here in my neighborhood." He said, "They're really, really good." He said, "The only thing they're missing is a drummer." So he said, "I told him about you." And so he gave him the information. Larry, like I said, Larry and I were buddies. Larry said, "Well, look here, man, we're going to go down there, man. I want you to come with me." I said, "Okay." So I went down there and I met this band. They had a young boy in the band named Sam Peake. Sam Peake. Sam Peake. Yeah, he was the young boy. Sam Peake is amazing. He was a little young fella, and he was playing this big baritone sax. The sax was big as he was, you know, but he could play. There was a guitar player named Charles Reed. We called him Cheese. Tremendous. A bass player named Billy Ross. Tremendous. And they had a singer named Toby. But Toby, you know, between singing, he was always flexing his muscles. He was really into bodybuilding. That's what he really wanted to be into. So, you know, I started singing with the band at the rehearsal. And when I started singing, he looked at me real funny. Then Larry said, "Let's do another one." He said, "Let him sing." So I sang. Next rehearsal we had, Toby came and said, "Look, fellas, I quit." He said, "You don't need me." He said, "You have a singer." So I said, "Huh?" So that was my birth as far as singing with the band. We called ourselves at the time the Eruptions.
Eruptions.
The Eruptions.
Okay.
And
Now Sam Peake was there.
yeah, Sam Peake was with us. Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, the first gig that we did, Sam came, and I tell it in front of him. I tell him, you know, he showed up in his dad's black suit. And it was a little long one. He had to roll the legs up. And he's got this big baritone sax. And we were at Stafford's. Joe Stafford had a place called, before it was Stafford's Alarium and all that, he had a garage. And that was our first gig. And Sam got to playing, it got so good to him. Next thing I know, Sam was sliding all across the floor on his knees, playing this big sax. And I'm looking, I said, "Look at this guy, you know?" And I said, "Well, wait a minute. If he can do that, I can move too." So we all started doing it. We were kids, we were having fun. We were good and didn't know it.
Okay.
Didn't know it,
Okay.
you know. We were rehearsing at my house, and a guy named Orlando Oliphant, who sang with a group called the Emanons.
Okay.
By the way, the word Emanons is actually no name spelled backwards.
Okay.
Okay. He came and he heard us playing, and he rang the bell and he said, "Listen, guys," he said, "you sound pretty good." He said, "We're a group." He said, "We need a band." He said, "Will you guys come and play with us?" So Larry and Cheese and Sam and everybody, they looked around and said, "Well, okay, well, we're already a band." He said, "Well, look," he said, "that's nothing." He said, "You can keep the band." He said, "But come on and listen to us." We went around. These guys were super talented.
Okay.
They wound up recording a song called One Heart. That was a minor hit in Philadelphia. And we decided that we would change our name now to the Emanons Band. And we started doing gigs.
Okay.
We met Sonny Hobson, the disc jockey.
Oh, Sonny Hobson. Okay.
Sonny Hobson
All right.
loved the Emanons, and he came and he wanted to manage us. So he opened a club right next door to the Uptown called Sonny Hobson's Playboy Club. And he asked us to come and be the house band. So we played there every Sunday, and we had a ball. And whenever we could not make it, we had an agreement. If we couldn't make it, we called the Soul to Balance.
Okay.
And they filled in for us.
Okay.
They were like our sister group, and whenever they couldn't do a gig, they'd call us. So we looked out for each other. But back in the days, that's the way it was. Everybody looked out for everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know about it today, but, But, I had the opportunity to meet all types of people. Larry eventually went on to become the drummer for the Uptown Orchestra. And through him, I had an opportunity to meet Stevie Wonder, James Brown. I met Michael Jackson in Jackson 5 the first time they came. In fact, we were in the dressing room, and our trombone player, a fellow named, we called him Booney, but his name was Melvin Johnson. All of us are big guys. And Michael Jackson was a little kid. He came and looked in the room and saw the three of us and said, "Oh, the three bears." And he pointed to me and said, "That's Papa Bear?" He said, and then he pointed to Larry and said, "That's Baby Bear." And he pointed to Booney and said, "And that's Mama Bear." And Booney said, "Who's this kid? Get him out of here." And when we saw him perform, we were amazed.
Right.
But through Larry, I had an opportunity to meet people. Larry was noticed by the Manhattans. And through Arnold Langley, who was our original guitar player when we were kids, Arnold played with the Manhattans. And he asked Larry to come and play with the Manhattans. So he left the group.
And Larry was about 16, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was young when he went on the road.
He left the group. And I became the leader of the band from that point on.
Okay.
And we continued to do a few gigs here and there. But Arnold Langley decided he was going to leave the Manhattans and go play with Junior Walker. So he came to us and said, "Cheese, our guitar player, said, can you replace me with the Manhattans?" And Cheese said, "Okay." So Cheese left and went with the Manhattans.
Wow.
Now I got Kenny Nash still, the bass player. Arnold came and grabbed Kenny and said, "Look, I want you to go and play with Junior Walker with me." So my entire rhythm section was just taken.
Yeah.
And I'm looking back, and I was really happy for the guys, But then I stopped singing, and people would ask me, "Well, why aren't you singing?" I said, "Well, the musicians, they can go, and they're very talented. I wasn't sure of my talent at that time, actually, so I stopped singing."
Well, I went through something like that too. But let's go over here and let's talk to Harold, and let's talk to Keith a minute.
Sure, go ahead.
And let's talk. Harold, tell me, how did you start your music career?
Okay. Well, I started. I really hard to say, but I think I started back when I was in college. I didn't even know if I had a voice or not. When I went to college, I got with some groups and started, and they said, sing this note. And I'll sing that note. Sing this note. I sing that note. And I thought I wasn't doing anything. They said, okay, then, well, we're going to learn this song and we want you to sing that note. This note that I give you. We're going to give you the note, you sing it. So that's exactly what I did. We used to, I had a friend who thought he was a promoter.
Okay.
And he got together this venue way out in the country somewhere. I went to Norfolk State University, and it was way out in the country. It was a big cornfield.
That's country. Like that.
And here we were out there in the dark, trying to find this place, riding through cornfields. And come out into this opening. There was this like a big barn. They had a big barn thing going. All these people were out in the middle of this cornfield, and they were having a big thing. Well, he was supposed to have a disc jockey and all this other stuff there, and the disc jockey and the band didn't show up. So we didn't know what to do, and the thing, and the people were getting mad. We want to hear music. Okay. And we started, and so I said, well, we got to do something. Well, so we all put it together that what we'll do, we'll get a record player and put some music on, and we'll sing to the record. That's
okay, so you made your
and so
track.
we all started singing. So I'm singing lead on some of these songs and everything, you know. And it turned out to be really good. People liked it.
Okay.
So we developed. They said, "Well, hey, look." Based on that, we said we're going to get a group. And so that's exactly how I started to sing. I didn't even know if I could sing or have a voice to sing or anything.
Okay.
And so that's where it came from. And then it went on when I was serving in the Army, when I was in Germany. A lot of the times we would sing. They didn't have church like they did at home. Everything was orchestrated and pretty much, you didn't do anything. So we wanted to sing and everything like this. So we developed a church, and they allowed us to do it. The Army allowed us to do it. And it turned out to be good. And we would go all over Germany singing.
Okay.
That was good.
Yeah, gospel. It was really good. That's how. And right now, with these guys here, I sing with the Good Shepherds. And it was the most funny thing that when I came with the group, they gave me such a hard time. They drilled me. They drilled me, and then after all their hard time
and
the
the
singing.
What were they giving you a hard time about? Your note?
Well, about the notes and everything. They said, "Oh, well, no, that's my note. You
okay.
can't sing my note." I said, "Well, wait a minute. What am I supposed to sing?" He said, "No, I'm going to give you your note."
Yeah,
same kind of stuff. I'm going to give you your note. And give me your note. Yeah, say your note is in your pocket.
Note, right? Stay on your note.
Yeah, put it in your pocket. Hold on to that note. They gave me such a hard time. And the minute after the whole thing was over, they said, "You're in the group."
Because we loved him, and we loved his spirit and everything.
Yeah.
Very, very kind.
But he had to hold that note, right?
Yeah.
I had to hold that note.
Yeah.
How about yourself, Keith?
Well, I had the benefit of growing up in Paul's youngest brother. They like to refer to me as his baby brother, but that's true as well. But I had the benefit of growing up in that household, and my great-grandfather also was Pastor W.W. Henderson of New Thomas Baptist Church. And as a kid, 5 years old, I heard him preach a sermon about being in the army of the Lord. So the Holy Spirit moved in me and wanted me to join the army of the Lord. So I went, and I have another brother that's going on to be with the Lord. He's like, "Where you going?" I said, "I'm going to be in the army of the Lord." He said, "Well, I'm going too." Because I'm the youngest, they were protective of me. But growing up in that atmosphere, and my family, we believe that we are Levites. So Levites were, in biblically speaking, Levites were in charge of ushering in praise. They would do songs, and they would prepare for the minister to come and preach the word, set the tone for the heart. And so, unbeknownst to myself, I was in that environment, and I would hear Paul and them rehearse and sing, and I never had confidence to sing publicly. And so I would sing around the house, and I guess they heard me singing and would encourage me to sing. But long story short, I too, like Harold, I went into the military, and I did a tour in the military, and when I came home, my the seed had been planted with me spiritually to do something for the service of the Lord. So I got back into the church. And you know, even though I was in the church, you know, I was still doing a lot of things, you know, because God works on you. You know what I mean? It's not an overnight process. Even though the process of saving you is instantly, but He builds you and shows you things where you need to be. So there was a choir there at the church, and I joined the choir, and I happened to be the only male on the choir, and it was like full of ladies, you know what I mean? And when I would sing, they loved me. Like, it was like, oh man, you sound good. And so, you know, the Lord was using them to pull me into music. So then I started leading songs, and then one day while at church, our pastor approached us and said he wanted us to meet him in the study after service. And we went downstairs, and there was 7 of us initially. And he talked about how our church had a tradition of great singers. They were really good, gifted singers. They were, though. Not to brag, but they were really good, gifted singers. But they were getting older. So he wanted some of the youth to take a mantle themselves, because those people were dying off or getting older. And we formed a ministry called the Good Shepherds. And like I said, it was 7 of us. But during the course of time, people fell by the wayside for whatever reason. But we stayed. And it was myself, Paul, and the guy Clay, he's not here tonight, and a guy named Joe Watkins. And we formed the nucleus. And ironically, we would rehearse on Friday nights. Which was a party night. Everybody's going to the club or just got paid. Friday night just got paid, money in my pocket. But we were rehearsing.
That's right.
And we were rehearsing in this garage, and then we moved to our home, and neighbors would sit outside and listen to us sing. And we started developing harmonies, learn how to sing harmonies and stuff. And so that's where I got my inspiration from. And then we evolved into several different stages as an a cappella group, because we mainly sing a cappella, but we can sing with accomplishments. But with a cappella, you have to be able to carry that note.
Yes,
because
everybody's
note is
put it in your pocket.
Right. So what we had this thing, we came up with this in-house joke, but it's, you know, like you point to your pocket, like get your note, because the note can warp the sound. But if you're singing in the blend, you know, it's like beautiful. And so that's why we a lot of times we point to the pocket, get your note. And so that's my experience with the Good Shepherd. We've been doing this for like 28 years. God has blessed us.
Oh, that's so great.
Amen.
That's so great.
And we realized, and we're humbled, because we realized He didn't have to use us for 28 seconds, but He gave us 28 years.
Isn't that something?
And so I speak for the ministry, but I know they're just as humble as I am. And we've gone up and down the East Coast, and we actually do ministry. We go to nursing homes, and we try to encourage people, and we do street corner ministry, and it's just fun. It's just a great opportunity. It's really rewarding, you know.
See, one thing about a cappella is that you got to be able to sing.
That's right.
And you cannot make a mistake, because it's out.
Now, bassman is on here, and the bassman has a group. You know, bassman.
I know bassman.
Okay.
Yeah, we know him.
And bassman, they sing a cappella.
We've done some programs together.
Through the years.
And he wants to come back on. I think he had a date, because he has a new CD, or the CD will be finished in a couple of weeks or something
Yeah.
like that.
Okay, that's good.
So he will agree with what you're saying. I know that you have to
Yeah.
hold that note.
Yeah. He's a very talented gentleman too.
Yeah, he is.
We know him. We've done several venues with them and different forums, and we enjoy their gifts. You know.
Okay, let me say hi to Ron Taylor, who joined us. Hello, Ron. And I'm glad to know that you're enjoying the interview.
Yeah.
Hi, Denise. Our Francis, thank you for joining in. Hi, Trina. Gil's sister, how you doing? Glad you joined in. Kathy, how you doing? You hear they're talking about Larry, right? Matt Green, always my support. Thank you, Matt. And Annabelle, it was great seeing you last night, and it's great to have you joining the show. Hi, Missy. Rogers, hello, how are you? And Rod Taylor saying good history. Tim Pace joined. Hi, Tim. And Bassman is here. And Ronnie Hammett is here. So I want to thank you all for joining in.
Thank you.
Okay, now,
Thank you.
it was something that you said, and I want to talk about it in a minute. Because maybe you can help me out with something.
Okay.
You know, like things happen throughout our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And like you mentioned that when Larry left and all the guys started leaving and going to different groups, you stopped
Yeah,
singing.
I did.
Okay? And why did you stop?
Well, as I stated before, they played instruments.
Okay?
I did not realize that the voice was an instrument at that time. It is. But at any rate, because they were very talented musicians, they were easily taken by established groups.
Right, okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
I kicked around for a minute. There were a couple of groups that I went to and they wanted me to sing with them. But I was spoiled. I was used to Larry's big bass drum in my back. Boom! It was thunder. I was used to that. I was used to Kenny Nash, and prior to that, Billy Ross, with their tremendous bass talent. I was used to Charles playing, and since I couldn't find that again, I just let it go, you know. So eventually I came back to church, because I had strayed away. We did some things. Anyway, I strayed away, and I came back to church. And once I came to church, my niece was getting married, and she asked me to sing at her wedding. And when I sang at her wedding, the pastor stopped and he looked at me. And he said, "I want you back here tomorrow." So I came to the church, and that started me back in the church. And from that point on, he used to take me around. If he had a ministry to do, if nobody else went with him, he would take me, and I would sing. And he really encouraged me. And my brother Tony was a lead singer on the choir. Clay was a singer, and he joined the choir, and he became a lead singer on the choir. Joe, our deceased member, this man would come from the back of the church singing and tear the church up, you know. So the four of us were among the 7 that he called and asked to come to his office. And his conversation with us was, you know, this is my brother said, we want you to carry on, we want to pass the torch. We don't want to insult the men by calling you the junior male chorus or anything like that. He said, but I want you to sing, and he said, I want you to be good shepherds of what you do. I said, what? I want you to be good shepherds of what you do. So that's the name. And that's the name, and it stuck.
Well, you know, something similar happened to me. I very seldom talk about it. You know, it upsets me.
Yeah.
But when Larry died,
Yeah,
you know, when Larry died, it really upset me because it was like all of a sudden thing.
Yeah.
He went to his mother's house, and the next thing I know, they
passed
told
in the
me,
living room. My
you
God.
know, he passed out. They would take him to the hospital, and that day he wanted to take my son, and for some reason I said no, don't take him up there because you stay too long, and you know, and he has to go to bed, and I wouldn't let him take Sean.
Right.
And so he went up there, and about an hour and a half later, they called and told me he had passed out in the ambulance. So it really hurt me. And then after he died, then Peaches died, you know, and her and I, we were close, and we were singing together, and Slick,
Yeah.
and she passed away, you know. And then I had another girlfriend, her name was Phyllis Bonet, and she used to sing with Brown Sugar, okay, and she passed away. There was so many people passing away close to me in that music field that I kind of like said to you, I think I need to do something else. I don't know what to do, you know. So I walked away from it. I honestly, I walked away from it. I stayed in it as far as teaching, because when I became a director, principal for the federal government, I opened up the schools that I was in charge of. I put music programs in there, but I couldn't get back into the entertainment field. So I prayed and to God, because music has always been my passion.
Indeed.
And I prayed for him to show me what I could do. And so now I'm here. So I know God hears our prayers, and I understand.
You know what? I know you're not going to blow your own horn, but I want you to know that Doris is an extremely talented writer, and
thank you.
just very gifted all the way around. So, you know, you can't hide your light under a barrel. You know, and I really appreciate the fact that you want your light to shine on other people who have been out in this industry. And I think you're the only person I know with this type of venue right now. I mean, like, we've been singing and we love it, and we're not worried about fame or whatever. Our goal, our goal is to win a soul. That's exactly what our goal is. And for you to extend an invitation to us, first of all, we thank you. We're humbled and we appreciate it. So thank you very much.
Thank you guys. And thank God for bringing us together.
Thank you.
I want you to know, when Larry passed, now I didn't know it. Now, like I said, Larry's mother, we called her Miss Hun. Miss Hun. You know, I had walked into the house, my nephew and I walked up to the bathroom. Butterball's show was on, and he played Peaceful Journey. And then when he finished, he said, that song is great, dedicated to the memory of the late, great Fat Larry. I said, what? I said, wait a minute. And my nephew come running up the step. You know, he said, did you hear what he just said? I said, man, I don't know what's wrong with Butterball. So I jumped on the phone and I called Miss Hun, and she was crying. It was the day after. And I said, what happened? She said, Larry had a big heart attack in my living room and he passed. I said, oh my God. I called our other member who's not here, Clay. We all grew up together. In fact, Larry was my oldest friend. Clay and I have been friends since junior high school. I called Clay. He was in another section of the city, and I let him know. It's ironic. We left and we both wound up pulling up in front of Larry's and Miss Hunt's house at the same time. And you know, it's still today. It's rough to talk about. Because Larry wasn't my friend. That was my brother.
But what he would want us to do is what we're doing now.
That's right.
All of us. He would want us to keep the music alive, win souls, inspire others to dance the music. And it took me a long time to realize that that's what we should be doing. You know, we can't let the music die. Okay? And no matter what type or genre of music that you sing, you know, you're out there singing. And you're out there still keeping the music alive. And I applaud you guys because, I mean, you've been doing this for 28 years. Okay? And that's a long time. You know, and you're still together and you're sounding good. And you're still winning souls.
Oh, thank God for that.
That's that right?
Yeah,
That's right.
Doris, if I can interrupt you, you was talking about us doing nursing homes. I remember the
Nursing
first
homes,
time we went to a nursing home, and I'm thinking, well, we're going to go and bring some joy and entertainment to these older people. I remember us singing. There was an old lady who had to be about 90 years old. She sat there like a statue, and she just stared. And we sang, and she never moved. She just stared at us. And when we finished singing, I walked by. She reached out and snatched my hand. And I looked at her, and she said, "You coming back tomorrow?" I said, no, ma'am. She said, I want you to come back tomorrow. She said, some people sing, but they don't sing the old songs like y'all do. I want y'all to come back. That thing tore me up.
Yeah.
If I could add a little to that, the same thing. Some places that we've gone to sing, and I was fascinated at the point about the young people.
How about it?
And want to learn how to harmonize. They cannot harmonize.
Yeah,
they got
see,
good voices, but they can't harmonize.
They can't hear those.
Yeah.
They can't
That's right. You gotta
They
say.
can't
That's
hear
right.
the
Your pocket.
root.
You need some
They
pocket.
they can't hear the root. They can't hear the third, and they can't hear the fifth.
That's
right.
right.
That's
That's
what
right.
they can't hear.
That's right.
Okay. All right. Okay. So let's go on and let's talk a little bit about you. Now I'm gonna call you Punchy this time.
Yeah, well, that's,
Okay.
my friends call me Punchy.
Now,
That's cool.
you've been around a lot of musicians. In fact, all of you have
Yeah.
for a long time. So why haven't you learned to play an instrument?
Okay.
Come on, tell us why.
Well, several years
Yeah.
ago, I had a stroke, and this finger, is like in this position. But I used to try. To play a bass, and I could play several songs. In fact, people would find me I even had an old guitar, and I would sit on my steps, and I'd get my guitar on the steps, and play bass lines and things like that. But I was able to fake it. I mean, I remember when we were young, we went and did a gig somewhere, and there was a band that was on before us, and their bass player wasn't there. So they said, "We need a bass player." I said, "Okay, I know a couple songs." He said, "What you gonna do?" So we're doing James Brown. I said, "All right, you got me." So I went on up and I'm playing, stuff like Cold Sweat and all this, and I'm doing my thing, and people were really liking it. I can come off the stage and tell you, "Man, that was good." I said, "They think I'm a bass player."
Yeah. If I can parallel off of what Paul was saying, I play a little bass and I play a little guitar, but I don't think I'm that great. But in junior high school, in the 7th grade, I went to Fitzsimons, which is in beautiful North Central Philadelphia, right? And so we went to the assembly, and I looked up on stage and my girl was up there playing the clarinet, and I was like, "What? She didn't tell me she played the clarinet." So I didn't want her to be up on me, so I went and got the saxophone. This is a true story. I went and got the saxophone.
That's good.
And so the guy, my music teacher, he was saying, "Listen, I want you to go home and learn to play these finger movements." And because I didn't really have a commitment for the saxophone, I had wanted it for the wrong reasons. I just wanted to be able to show my girl that I could be up there on stage with her too. I didn't practice as well, right? So what I learned from that was that he would say, "You didn't practice, did you?" And I was like, "Yeah, I practiced trying to, pull one over on him." And he's like, "You didn't practice because I have an ear and I can hear. If you were practicing, you would actually get better. Even though you might not have the true note or how to blow it properly, but you would get better through practice." And so I decided I was going to practice, but what it required was you have to stay after school. And like 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you would have to stay after school. And during that time, you leave school, and I had books, and my mother bought me a cashmere and a my dad, leather coat. And people, saxophone books, leather coat. Where you from? Where you from? I'm like, I'm from that way. And I point that way, they look that way, I ran this way. But what I did was, I threw the books. I said, I'm not going to do the sex because my parents would have been obligated to pay for it.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that really made me reevaluate playing the sax. I didn't want to take the out of fear of being jumped and all that and being in a different neighborhood. Unfortunately, I gave it up.
Yeah.
But I always often thought, man, like I could have.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
I want to piggyback on that story. Originally, the four of us, Tony, myself, Clay, and Joe, we were the Good Shepherds. Joe left us for a while, and we were rehearsing over Tony's house, and Tony's wife could sing. His wife could sing. We'd be singing, and she'd be the phantom note in the other room. We'd hear it, and we was blending. And we were saying, we really need that fourth voice. And heard her, and we asked her, said, Nita, come on in here and sing with us. And she, okay. And we asked her, said, will you come and join the group? And she was like, me? I said, yeah, we need you. She said, I can't sing like you guys. I said, you can sing. Come on and join us. So she was with us for a while.
10 years.
Now, at this point, yeah, she was with us for 10 years.
10 years?
Yeah.
That was a long time.
Tony was starting to sing lead. I always try to push everybody out. In fact, I try to stay in the background, okay? And I push everybody out up front. Tony was so shy, he'd come up front and he'd hold the microphone like this and hold his head down and he'd sing into the mic, and he could sing, but he wouldn't make eye contact with anybody.
Okay.
And then Nita would come and sing, and Nita was all over the place. She's all in the audience, and hey, and I'd get right in his ear and say, "You gonna let your wife show you like that?" And he looked at me and said, "You see what she's doing? Boy, you better start moving." From that point on, Tony got a little more loose and loose. Now you can't take a mic out this Negroid's hand.
So with that in mind, what makes a good performer?
A good performer.
What makes a good performer?
Go ahead, Harold.
I was just gonna, what makes a good performer is a person who knows what he's doing and has confidence in himself. And once he steps out, he don't see the crowd.
That's right.
He just sees what he just experiences what he or she is doing. That's what makes a good performer.
Yeah. I think that to expound on that, being able to play, sing, whatever, it's a gift. But a gift is not realized until you're able to share it.
Yes.
And able to give a gift away.
Yes.
So that's it. And when he opened up and was able to feel confident enough to give his gift, it just became better and better.
Yeah, for me, the reward for singing and put the energy and effort in trying to reach the soul, right, is my number one goal for singing. But to go out and actually see people's countenance change, that smiles on faces, it's like a warm, fuzzy thing for me. And then down through the years, we entered this competition. We didn't even know it was a choir competition, but we were invited to be a part of it. And it was choirs, some known choirs in the city of Philadelphia, like some real powerful choirs. And we wound up coming in second place as a quartet. So that's what constitutes for me like a good performance, or someone to say that you really lifted my spirits through your voice and your song. That's for me.
Well, let me say,
there's no other feeling greater than when you give of yourself and that crowd gives it back.
How about it?
Oh,
Yes.
what a dance!
Right.
Dance.
Yes,
Exactly.
Nobody ever knows the things that you go through during the day.
You have to get there.
And when you sing, it just looks like your whole continents and your world changes.
Exactly.
It makes you feel good.
You know, like you said, people really don't know what you're going through. I remember, I relate this when I was traveling with Valerie's band. Sometimes we'd be on the road. I remember somebody booked us for 7 one-nighters. It was the craziest,
Wow.
craziest.
I can imagine. That was
Listen,
crazy.
you know, usually you go in progression. The first night we were in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. The second night we were in Welsh, West Virginia.
I lived out there
Okay?
too.
Then we came from Welsh, West Virginia to East Orange, New Jersey. Then back to Cherry Hill. And then finally back to Philadelphia. But that was a crazy booking.
Yeah.
That we were on the road the whole time. I mean, really. We didn't even have a chance to eat. We stopped at a little store and we'd buy those little crackers and the soda, and that's what we ate. We get to a place in time enough to go and wash up, you know, and the band would hit the stage. You know, now I wasn't performing with the band. I was traveling as one of the roadies.
Yeah.
Larry had wanted me to sing with the band, but I turned it down. But he said, now, well, I can trust you. He said, I want you to be with my band. He said, if you can't do it, we want you to be our road manager. We're going to train you to be our road manager. But they had a road manager, and I was learning. But I had the opportunity to travel because of my friendship with Larry. But like I'm saying, people really don't know even the song. Nobody knows the life of an entertainer.
And it's really hard. And sometimes you don't have anything to eat.
That's right.
You know,
That's right.
until maybe you may get paid a couple dollars.
How about that too?
You know, maybe.
How about that?
Maybe you won't. You know. But it's hard.
Promoter, right?
Yeah.
And all they see is this show. And you know, and they say, oh wow, I want to be like them. But they don't know what it takes,
How
what
about
it took
it?
to
How
get
about
to
it?
that stage. You know, and what it keeps wait a minute. They don't know what it took to get to that stage.
Exactly.
And they don't know what it takes to keep going on that stage.
Exactly.
That's
Okay?
the truth. That's
Because
the
when you
truth.
get off that stage, you got a whole lot of things in your head, and
Yeah.
you may have been hungry while you were
Yeah.
doing that show. You don't know. So it's just the life of an entertainer, like you said. And you guys are hidden music legends because
bless you.
you've been everywhere. You've been doing everything. You've been working and praising God and doing R&B. And I want all of you guys to be recognized for all the good things you've done in the music industry. Okay?
Thank you.
Yeah, I want you to be recognized for that. Now, another thing, so all of you still are original members. And the
Yes.
fourth one
Well,
is original member too.
Yes.
Yeah, he's not here tonight, but yeah.
Right. But he's original member.
Yes.
Okay. What was a couple of your favorite venues that you've done?
Oh, for me, one of my favorite memories with the Good Shepherd was we went down south to my wife's people's home in Rock Hall, Maryland, and we were able to sing down in. They call it the country. It is really
it's
country
country.
too. It's
It's
country.
country.
You know what I mean?
Smokey the Bear's the mayor.
So to go down there and to go to several different churches and the BBC, and those folks can sing.
Yes, Lord.
Those folks really can
Yes,
sing.
Lord.
Like, you know, like I remember Bill Withers was talking about. They used to sing so good they had to tie the casket down. I was hitting himself all upside the head with the drumstick, and the sister would hit the radio and screaming, "Ow!" You know, it was like that type of flavor. But just to have that joy and to be received, and they, oh, you gotta come back. We want you to come down, and you know, and then they try to feed you and they want to pay you, you know, and it was just a beautiful. That's one of my highlights. And meeting these guys and learning to, well, I always love my brother, but to love my brother here, my other brothers, and through thick and thin, like it's never been an ego thing. Everybody's remained humbled, and we just try to do what we do for the glory of God, you know, and He has blessed us.
Amen.
And that's my highlight.
Now, I want to say Hi to Sandy Sykes who joined. That's my sister. Hi, Sandy. And Ted, we were talking about
Ted
you.
Cohen?
And Ted is on. He is joined.
Hey,
Ted
Ted!
is on.
What's
I
up,
know
Teddy?
Ted Cohen.
I want to say hi to Ted.
Yeah.
And Ted has been doing
Bad
some
boy.
good things, you know.
Yeah.
And hopefully they will be on the show soon.
I hope
And
so.
we can see what the band is doing. Michelle's my cousin. Hi, Michelle.
Hey, Michelle.
And Ted said, God bless you, my brothers.
Thank you.
God bless
Yeah,
you right
and,
back.
God bless you back.
It says, hey, Punchy,
Hey, buddy.
God bless you. And Brad is saying, God bless you, the good shepherd.
Thank you.
And Steve Green.
Steve, that's my
Yeah,
buddy.
That's
Steve.
Steve. Now,
Steve.
now
Hey.
is Steve Green with you
Yeah,
on Mondays?
Huh?
He's with you on Mondays?
Oh, we go to his musicians fellowship every,
Right.
every third Monday of the,
Third Monday.
of the month.
Beautiful, too.
Yeah.
I gotta
Beautiful.
get down
It's
there.
awesome. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's an awesome fellowship.
You know, there's only one rule. Leave your ego outside. You know, because ego stands for edging God out. We can't do that. Okay? But it's a way where you can come in fellowship because the motto is we're all fellows in the same ship.
Okay.
And we-
Okay. Okay.
If I may, speaking of Steve Green, this is a commercial, if I could.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Perfect
You hear that,
segue.
Steve, right?
Steve Green, we love Steve Green and his lovely wife, Rose, and
Yeah.
just the giving spirit. And on our first project, he came and volunteered his time and
Yeah, while we're in
energy
studio.
and effort so that our gospel train CD would be the best that it could be, and we're proud of that. But we're honoring, we want to honor Steve and his lovely wife for what they've done meant to us. And so we're having a gospel prayer breakfast
Okay.
on August the 24th, 2019 at Cathedral of Faith Baptist Church, which is located at 1800 West Cambria Street. Beautiful North Central Philadelphia, 19132. Time is from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. Fourth Saturday in August. And the cost of the ticket is only $15. And I guarantee you, if you come, you'll be blessed, and you'll be a blessing to those who we plan to honor. With Steve Green and his lovely wife Rosie is one of our honorees.
All right. Okay.
Thank
Well,
you.
while we're here, let's look at the CD. Okay. Now, this is your new CD, right?
That's the CD that we've done.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
you've done. So. And where can is the Good Shepherd's Gospel Train?
Gospel train.
And this is the one that Steve Green.
Yeah, he was one of the engineers on that project.
Oh,
Yes.
great, great.
Yes.
He just gave up his time. He just came
Yeah,
in.
just freely came and gave time.
Yeah.
Some nice songs on there too, if I say so myself.
I didn't hear it. We're going to listen to it.
Okay.
But I can tell by the way this looks.
Oh yeah.
It looks good. I imagine it sounds just as
All
good
right,
as it
okay.
looks. I mean, the label was done very professionally
Yeah.
and Gospel Train. And now, where can we pick this CD up from?
Well, I have a few left. We sold them ourselves. We would
Okay.
sell them at our programs or whatever. Like I still have a few left. So if
And
anybody
so do
wants
I.
them,
If anybody wants, I
Yeah.
have.
Okay.
you can contact either of us.
I'm going to give you email.
Okay.
I'm going to give emails out.
Yeah,
after the
and
show.
that's an acapella project, and I think if you listen to it, it'll bless your soul because it wasn't. It was about being able to give something to folks to encourage you.
Indeed. My brother came up with the idea because we've gone through a lot. I mean, God has tremendously blessed me. I mean, this Sunday I celebrated my 69th birthday.
God bless you.
And I thought about what I've gone through. 14 years ago, I had a stroke. And I used a cane, and like I said, his fingers, but God brought me through it.
Yes.
I had 3 bouts of cancer. Listen, I was weighing 460 pounds. I'm still a big boy, but not that big, And I lost all my hair and everything, and I went through it. The last time when they put me on extreme, because I went through chemo, then I went through the radiation, then I went through chemo again, then I went through extreme chemo. I had to go into the hospital on Tuesday, be hooked up to the machines until Thursday, go home. Come back Tuesday, Thursday, go home. This went on for about 6 different weeks. Then they didn't find any more cancer, so I thank God. They told me, I said, Mr. Jones, you're a perfect candidate for a T-cell transplant. They're going to take healthy cells and put it in places where the cancer was. Said, you'll never have to worry about cancer again. I said, that sounds great. Said, here's the bad news. You'll have to stay in the hospital for 4 to 6 months. I said, wrong. You know? I said, doctor, I don't doubt your expertise. I said, but I want to let you know a secret. So what? I know the manufacturer, and I'm giving it to him. And I have not looked back since.
Okay.
Thank God.
Amen.
Yes. Well, we have some good stories, and all the praises.
Amen.
All the praises go to
every
God,
praise.
and it's
Every
just
day.
so wonderful to all of us.
Indeed.
And all we have to do is follow His word, read His word, and follow it. Right?
Yes, indeed.
And we'll be okay. And I want to say thank you to you guys. Any inspirational words to anyone that's out there that's thinking about going into the music industry? Do we have any inspirational words to give them?
Okay.
If I may, I would just like to encourage you, if you feel musically inclined, you feel as though the Creator has endowed you with a gift, as it was brought up earlier in this conversation, that it's not really a gift until you give it away.
Share it.
And you share it, right?
Yeah.
And the purpose of that gifts are without repentance. In other words, God chooses to bless who He wants to be gifted in certain areas. Musically, I would encourage you to stay true to it, to believe in yourself, but also try to remain humble.
Yes. Yes.
Because if you put yourself on a higher pedestal, you're already at the top. The only place you can go is down. But if you humble, your gift will make room for you. It will put you in places where, even money can't take you, or
That's
even fame. I mean, it'll put you in venues where your gift can be used to encourage others. So I would encourage you, don't give up on yourself. Stay true, stay humble, and every opportunity you get to perfect your gift or to hone your craft, I would encourage you to do it. You know what I mean? Don't listen to the distractors. Don't listen to the naysayers.
Yeah.
Don't even listen to that voice that's in your head that is designed to stop you from achieving your goals in life. That's doubt. So even tune that out. Learn to say, nope, you're a liar. Creator bestowed me with this gift, and I'm going to give it back for His glory, and it'll get you somewhere. Yeah. It'll get you a reward.
Yeah. I just want to say, along with that, you said, don't listen to the naysayers. Just remember, everybody has an opinion. I'm going to clean it up. My mother used to say it with a little flavor. Said everybody has two things, an opinion and a behind. And if they use either one too much, it stinks. But I always told my daughters not to worry about public opinion. Let me let you in on a little secret about public opinion. Public opinion and $2 will not get you a ride on Scepter. Or Paris, $2.50.
That's right. Okay.
All just like I said, humble yourself. Keep yourself humble, and always learn from those who have gone on before.
Yes. Listen.
Listen. Ask questions.
Yes.
Yes.
I love to answer questions. And believe in yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to believe in yourself. It's all about you. It's not about anything else but you and God. And things will work good for you.
Okay. Well,
Indeed.
I want to thank Facebook family and friends and the whole world for tuning in tonight. I want to thank Gilbert Lomax, our
All right,
producer.
Yeah.
I want to thank
All right.
I want to say thanks to the sponsors, Mingle Event Studio at 1905 North 54th Street in Philadelphia. I want to say thanks to Mingles. I want to say thanks to Simply Music Incorporated, and that's a incorporation that teach kids music They teach them how to play instruments. And I want to say thanks to Philly Live Radio for all the support that we get.
Yeah.
I want you to check out Philly Live Radio. It's 24/7 and listen to your favorite oldies. We have the Carlos Devon Show. We have Motown Monday, Women Who Jam, and Jesus Justified with Pastor William A. Brown. Okay. Now next week, June 13th at 8 o'clock p.m., we have a conversation again with Benny Barksdale Jr. And Benny and his sax has played for so many music legends. And tune in next week to follow him through his musical journey.
Right.
Now, last night I was at an event that Benny played at, and he just tore it up.
I hear
He
you.
just tore it up. Okay, his solos were awesome. Okay, and next week he's gonna do some solos for you. So
Right.
tune
Oh,
in.
great.
And I want to also close by saying follow me on Facebook, like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Check me out on Instagram, and check out my webpage. As I always say, I put a lot of work in it. I want you to check it out. And I am Doris James, and I thank you for listening in tonight. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. All right.
Yeah.